Hi, good morning and welcome to the Market Carver. I hope you've had an outstanding week. It has been busy at the Financial Enhancement Group, been busy in the entire economic world. Much to talk about. We've had the Federal Reserve this week make mention. We've had ISM numbers, ADP, payroll numbers so far, and interesting things happening across the sea. Enjoyed seeing many of you at the Thirdly this last week in Lafayette, obviously a couple weeks ago. In the Anderson vicinity. We'll get something out to you next week for those of you who are unable to attend. Always happy to have the commentary and to share it with you anytime we can. As you can tell by the brightness on my face, it is sunny outside. Let's hope the weather continues to stay that way. First leg, let's turn to Apple. Question is Apple becoming a blue chip company? Had the largest bond offering in history for a non-financial company, $17 billion, very oversubscribed. As Adam likes to say, he's just glad that Apple finally has a plan. Remember, you got about $150 billion, much of it across the pond, as they would say overseas. And a lot of people are saying, why aren't they just using the cash? The reality is, it is cheaper from a tax perspective to borrow money, to buy back stock, to reduce dividend payout. It's a much better deal for us as current shareholders for it to happen that way, and at least they have a plan going forward. Good stuff. Speaking of bond buybacks, you know the United States Treasury 10 years around 165, 164, somewhere in that vicinity, and Apple had to do its bond at somewhere around 2.25. So when you look at the strength of the two, it's kind of interesting to think about it, especially with Apple being a technology company, not necessarily a financial company, though it does have a boatload of cash. Well, speaking of cash and a rhyme, we had another flash crash. This one's a quickie, and I can't tell you necessarily the root of it. We talked a few weeks ago on the Market Carver about how a Twitter comment came out from a Netflix CEO, how it influenced the market. The SEC came back and said, you know what, we're good with it. Well, in this case, somebody hacked the Associated Press Twitter feed and went in and said that the White House was under attack, had bombings, that the president may be hurt. The market immediately shot down just in a few seconds. You had new Twitters coming out going, hey, this is wrong. Things have been done, but it does show you how quickly a market can move. We've got to be cognizant and conscious of that, watching the things that are going on. For those of you that are Thirdly, know that I talked about the flash crash May 6th of 2010, but sadly enough, there are many of these crashes. That bottom part of the chart, you can just see where the volume from the high-frequency trading just dissipated immediately when this happened. Those computers do not take long to react. Well, big boys are finally turning to ETFs. You know, we've been talking to people about exchange-traded funds versus mutual funds for years. Secretly, quietly, the largest holder of exchange-traded funds has become the mutual fund industry, buying them inside of their funds. And now you're starting to see more and more of the big funds actually create their own exchange-traded funds. This is good. We don't mind the competition in that respect. What we want is better product, better innovation. Now that they're forced to participate, understanding, looking at that fiduciary lens that we talk about of fees and volatility and the expenses and the taxes today and tomorrow, and getting that real return. Now that they're getting on that playing field, we look for more good innovation products to take place and to occur. Fundamentally, this has not been the best week. Last week we watched the durable goods orders come in, the lowest they've been in about 7 months. That was not a pleasant thing at all. We watched the GDP number across the pond start to come in a little bit weaker than what some people had hoped for the Chinese world. But the big news here is our ISM number was just barely above 50. As you know, 50 is growth. Anything above 50 is growth, but we're going to watch and pay attention to the trajectory. Interestingly enough, Australia came in, and it was around 35 on the number, which means they've had a huge drop. All of that is indicative of some of the stuff that's going on in China. Australia's biggest outside part of their economy is clearly the trade that they do with China. But we had the Federal Reserve talk this week saying, hey, we're still all in for the $85 billion until something changes. The ADP number came out. Does not bode well for Friday, looking like you're going to see a worse number for employment than even last thing. And of course, you added on this old technical cliche of, hey, it's May, it's time to go away. Watch what the market does. We'll see. We are watching very, very closely. 1,600 on the S&P 500 obviously is a key number. As of Tuesday night's close, we're around Wednesday night's close, we're around 1,585. Rules to live by: the consensus rarely gets it right and almost always gets it wrong on the side of optimism. ... Except at the very bottom. That's David Rosenberg, and that is very, very true. It's people seem to go to that sides. They are either very optimistic in mass or they're very negative in mass, and there's a lot of issues that are out there on both sides right now. A very, very interesting market. Like we said, we've been enjoying seeing you guys at the Thirdleys. If you happen to have missed it, want some information, we are more than happy to share it. I had about 200 families between the Anderson and the Lafayette Thirdly. It was very good to see you all. If you're out and about on Saturday morning, don't forget to catch the radio show, 9 to 10 on WQME, 10 to 11 Sunday mornings on Shine 99. Had some interesting conversations this week, and happy to share those with you. And of course, you can find our newspaper column as well at the website at yourlifeafterwork.com. If there's anything we can do to be of service, please let us know. Have a great May. God bless. Look forward to seeing you all soon.